Hello everybody, welcome back to the MattVidPro AI YouTube channel. Today we're looking at a mysterious new model that's been floating around the LM arena. It's called Nano Banana. And guys, the image generation and image editing that you get out of this model is second to none, and when I say that, I mean it. I'm going to start off with this post by Cryptonomics here on Twitter. You can see we ask this model Nano Banana, and this is from LM Arena, by the way, for a regular frozen pizza that goes in the oven for 2 hours at 400 degrees and then is taken out. What happens to the pizza? We want it to be realistic. If you notice, in this prompt, we have no mention of a burnt pizza, a pizza that is destroyed or has been in the oven for too long. The only context clues are the fact that we said 2 hours at 400 degrees. I mean, to a person who knows how to cook a pizza, yeah, that's obviously crazy. You wouldn't leave a pizza in there for that long. But to an AI that is generating an image of what this pizza is going to look like, most of them are just going to give you a regular pizza. This one, though, it knows it can actually reason and think about the fact that this pizza has been in the oven for 2 hours at 400 degrees, and realistically, when it comes out, it's going to look like a burnt pile of mush and rock, and that is exactly what you get. So pretty impressive demonstration of reasoning capabilities. He takes it one step further though, a frozen pizza that goes in the oven for 2 hours and is taken out. Not at 400 degrees, so theoretically it was in there for 2 hours at a low temp. Once it's taken out, it looks delicious. But the really big and surprising part about this generation is the fact that it shows you the before and after. First showing us the sort of product picture of the pizza, ultra slow bake pizza, baked for 2 hours. Keep in mind, we never said or gave the AI any clue that 2 hours is a slow bake pizza. It just inferred that and understood it with reasoning, which is pretty darn incredible for an image generation model. It does have an understanding that is outside of what you typically see from diffusion. And of course, if we ask for a regular frozen pizza that was just in the oven for 20 minutes, yeah, we get a typical pizza, and even the oven down here says, oh, 20 minutes, kind of signifying that, giving you that extra information visually. Anyways, its ability to deeply understand the prompt in an inherent way and even reason about it leads me to believe that this is an autoregressive native image gen model similar to what we saw with GPT-4o, or as it's referred to in the API, GPT Image. But I really don't think that this model is from OpenAI. I actually think it's from Google, and that's what the large majority of folks think as well. I've also got another insane post to show off here by HBTT. Nano Banana doesn't just paint over pixels. It literally masks 3D objects first, edits specific parts, and even remembers what it touched beforehand. Much like a person, this model actually seems to see 3D inside of 2D images. You can see in this image, we've got a figurine in two different positions. So this is the starting image, this is the edited image. The prompt here was to mask the 3D volume of specific parts of the figure with a grid user interface. She's going to be waving her right hand in the same pose, specifically the right, and mark those moved parts with an orange grid, and the unchanged parts should be marked with a blue grid. That's pretty complex stuff. You can see this is the original image, and with the edits, it's exactly as described. The figurine is completely drawn over with a 3D grid UI, showing the actual depth of the object. The boots with these pink little squares, for example, are actually bumps on this 3D object. You can see the legs get larger as it moves upwards, for example. Even the hair details have these slight little grid pieces, and the grid isn't perfect. Obviously, it does look like someone kind of drew over it, but it seems remarkably accurate. And yeah, it's a blue grid here, and the only position that was changed, which is the right hand, is in this orange grid. And you can see, yep, that is her right hand. She's got up there waving. Pretty incredible adherence. It also kept all the text completely accurate, and the character looks pretty much exactly the same. The consistency between images you upload and your actual output from Nano Banana is very similar. It's really shocking in that regard. I think it absolutely destroys even native GPT image in regards to keeping everything consistent when you upload an image and ask for edits. In this next example, we've got another figurine. This is obviously Spider-Man 1/7 scale statue, Web Slinger edition. And take a look at the consistency between edits here. It's absolutely remarkable. Asked to remove some of these extra little blue objects, clean the image up, but it keeps everything else the same. We can even even change Spider-Man's pose, as well as ask for the lamp on the left-hand side to be outlined. But yeah, you'll see it also, again, is preserving everything in the image as we move through these edits. The background, the cylinder that he is standing on. It's really, really quite incredible. I mean, there's only like a couple of slight little pixel differences. Full preservation. You can even go as far as to ask it to highlight and select out different regions in the entire image. You can see it does a little bit of duplication, 1, 1, 2, 2. But overall, it separated these different regions pretty effectively. Shows a good level of spatial understanding here regarding the image it's either editing or creating. It's just absolutely wild. Wow, it's even able to leave gaps in the masking too. Flux context and Gemini 2.0 Flash don't hold a candle to what Nano Banana is able to produce. I mean, it's getting the basic loose concept, but it isn't anywhere nearly as accurate, and it totally screws up the text as well as a lot of details in the figure. You can also see a fun example from Jimmy Apples here making a custom Pokemon card for AlphaMind, which is cool. Again, taking a closer look, it does a great job. Even the font looks pretty accurate to real Pokemon cards. The iconography in here is really great, again, adhering to real, true Pokemon, as well as the layout of the card itself. The one thing that Jimmy Apples points out is that we don't get perfect text yet with this, and yes, you can fix it with various AI-powered tools, but it would be solid to just get it all at once. And again, this model is still in the testing phase. It's not fully released. Technically, no one knows who built the model, and yeah, it gets very close with the text you see here, but just doesn't get all the way. You can see that attack gets screwed up over here. Flip coin, if coin, head attack does 40 more damage. Just kind of broken sentences, but super close. The cropping of the image though is pretty darn stellar, because that is a real person. Someone also uploaded this into ChatGPT though, and was able to fix this card using that interface, but it was a lot of back and forth, 2 hours to get the perfect prompt, and it's also not giving it to you in the ultra realistic way. It's a Pokemon card, so we'll let it slide, but this one is definitely a more realistic copy of this person. So I also did a ton of testing of my own with this Nano Banana model. I'm also going to tell you guys how you can get access, although like I said, it is through LM Arena. You don't always get the Nano Banana model 100% of the time. Regardless, in this example, I uploaded a photo of a red hatchback. I said, what would this car look like if it had been filled with milk instead of oil and ran around a track for an hour? Again, pretty vague, very much natural language instruction and questioning. Nano Banana absolutely nails this prompt. Flux 1 Context Dev, the model it was up against, did an okay job, but not nearly as good. In Nano Banana's result, we can see that it's kind of made this milkshake with the oil, and people actually have put milk inside of vehicle engines before, believe it or not, and this is pretty much what it looks like when they explode everywhere from not having oil inside them. The splatter is kind of all over the front of the car, though. It looks like it's leaking out from under the hood. Realistic, this is a photo I could almost believe. It's a little bit too perfect for the circumstances of the milk explosion, but it looks incredibly real, and it shows an incredible demonstration and understanding of the 3D space and what's really happening in the image. Flux 1 Context Dev, I mean, it's not terrible, right? But instead we get this like really 3D render-esque glue stuff that's all stuck to the bottom of the car. If milk really was filled inside of this engine, it's not just going to be like surrounding the entire car and encasing it in like a glue. Here, if I move my head, you can see it's pretty strange. It also completely painted the car white, did not adhere to the original color I uploaded in, but I will say it did keep the license plate, which is pretty impressive from Flux. Here's another demonstration that I found really intriguing. I uploaded this picture right here, and it's pretty creepy. I'll zoom in. It's an image I made with ChatGPT of me in like this creepy room filled with lemons. I'm just like pointing at the lemons behind me. I asked the AI to reverse this image from its current creepy art style to something much more cheerful and happy. Adjust the lighting as well, but the basic composition should remain intact. Again, a little bit vague, but it absolutely freaking nails it. Nano Banana completely lightens up the image. It makes me look a lot more cheerful and happy, like a presenter on a kids' TV show, and I'm just showing off my lemon collection. I'm really shocked that it was able to actually do these correctly as lemons, because in the original, I mean, how do you know that those are lemons and not oranges? Gemini 2.0 Flash, on the other hand, I mean, this image is pretty much just as creepy as the other one. It looks a little bit more burnt and crispy. The oranges don't look real. I don't even really look real, and it's just not really reversing it properly. This is like a full reconstruction, and again, it's just so mind-bogglingly impressive that it can do this. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though. Some things are absolutely still challenging for Nano Banana. I uploaded this image, which I originally generated with GPT Image from OpenAI, and this was a very impressive generation because it was actually able to generate an image of a man with one missing arm. Why is this difficult for AI models? Well, they're trained on image and text pairs, and most people have both of their arms. It's very far and few in between where you see someone losing a limb. So even if you ask an AI image model for someone that doesn't have an arm, oftentimes it'll screw it up. Now, I raised the stakes here because I asked Nano Banana to remove his other arm as well, make it look like he's from ancient time period. That was a little addition I came up with on the side to see if it could do both at once. Nano Banana, unfortunately, wasn't able to fully complete the task. You can see it just kind of chopped more of his arm off, which we wanted this arm to be severed as well. But it did make him look like he was more from ancient times, gave him some less new age clothing. So it's still one in that regard, especially compared to Gemini 2.0 Flash, which did honestly kind of remove his other arm, but it smoothed out the rest of the image. And these are not natural looking missing limbs. It doesn't look real at all. It looks like they just kind of cropped it out up here. This was, in my opinion, kind of a failure for both of these models. Again, a very difficult ask though. Uploaded a photo of me. I said, make me an incredibly accurate and detailed picture of this guy tripping and falling on the moon. He hit his helmet on a rock. I wanted to see how far it would go, but yeah, you could see that even Nano Banana wasn't really able to nail this prompt fully. I am tripping and falling on the moon in the spacesuit. You can see Earth in the background and the American flag. Like, that's all great, but who's this guy? That is definitely not me. I think it's just a too small of an area to really like replicate my face into, I think, for this generator. You can see his helmet's also cracked. So close to getting there, but it missed me entirely, so I had to dock points. Gemini 2.0 Flash, again, you can look, it's just a spaceman on the moon. This looks pretty bad, almost no detail. And again, just some really creepy mush face thing in here. Not my face at all. But this generation right here was truly something else. Uploaded another picture of me. I said, make me a YouTube thumbnail of this guy in VR Minecraft. Super basic prompt. Gemini 2.0 Flash just kind of re-edits me with a VR headset on and gives me way too many teeth. But Nano Banana, I mean, that is a full YouTube thumbnail, and it's crazy. I'll pull up the full one. Check that out. It's a full 16:9 thumbnail as well. The Minecraft logo is basically perfect, and it even came up with a title, VR is Wild. Minecraft pickaxe, a little VR headset that's also kind of like a Minecrafty icon, fully cropped me out, no questions asked, including my whole headset. Like, typically when I make my thumbnails, I have huge struggles with this little microphone piece on my headset. Nano Banana just crops it immediately, no problem. Also kept the chair in there, which I usually remove, but you know, that's fine. Like, this is still usable, I think, very much so, as a thumbnail for VR Minecraft. And the background you really have to talk about, too, because it kind of puts you in the situation of, like, you are in virtual reality Minecraft, where this 3D high FOV, all these mobs circling around me as I'm in VR with these blocks, like it really sets you in the scene. So I was just so impressed by this. I think you could straight up upload this and use this as a thumbnail, and on a good video, it would work no problem. This was where I realized, like, oh, okay, if Nano Banana truly is a Gemini 3.0 native image gen model, once I get access to this, I'm canceling my Photoshop subscription because I no longer will need it. This is definitely good enough. Also tried some spatial stuff out. Again, uploading another photo of me. I said, edit this image so that the man in the white t-shirt is sitting on the couch in the background and having a campfire with a real caveman who's squatted to the right of the fire, which is in the middle of the room. The chair is gone. Honestly, Flux 1 context dev really impressed me with this result, as the detail is a little bit mushy. It's not as good, but my face and head looks great. We've got the caveman and the campfire right in the middle. It nailed it. Nano Banana also did a pretty good job. Like I said, I think it's got more detail overall, looks a little bit more real, but my face While this isn't a bad clone, it's not as good of a clone as this one. I think it changed my face just a little too much. This caveman, though, definitely looks better. I mean, that is your classic stereotypical caveman. Next up, I tried more thumbnail stuff. Engaging YouTube thumbnail of a guy driving his car in VR super fast. Title should be engaging and creative and really emphasize how it feels. So this prompt was pretty basic. I wasn't hoping for anything too great. Gemini 2.0 Flash just puts some random dude with a VR headset on in a car and calls it a day. Pretty much useless. Nano Banana honestly still does a really great job. I didn't save this one, but this was also fully 16:9. You can even see the high speed kilometers per hour while preserving the background of my room too, and putting the headset on my head and opening my mouth. I'm shocked. Having a great time. I thought this was a little bit too much text for a thumbnail, but it was still pretty decent. And I did do a couple of extra prompts for this particular one because I wanted to see how good I could get it. And you can see I actually got GPT Image versus Nano Banana, so let me show you the full variants of those. This is GPT Image from OpenAI, and you'll notice that the aspect ratio isn't 16:9. This is something that OpenAI has locked down on this model, and I don't know why. It's actually a pretty great thumbnail. It looks pretty close to me. I've got the VR headset on, I'm holding the wheel, driving, crazy realism. It's not terrible, but the R is cut off. I could expand it pretty easily, but the Nano Banana thumbnail, my word, this is another level up. It's completely transported me into, you know, this cabin, this cockpit cabin, which kind of gives you the feeling of like, oh my god, I've been transported with virtual reality. Kind of feels like what you would want to convey if you were making a video like this. Way more text. VR so real, it feels like driving IRL. My mind was blown. And we've got like this digital, like hallucinatory stuff all on the edges. It's an attractive thumbnail. It looks really high quality and professional. So I said this one won all day, even though OpenAI's wasn't too bad. For my last variant with a more detailed prompt, I wanted a pro level YouTube thumbnail that evokes the imagery and the transportation into a new place that VR gives you. Something 3D that shows the process of being transported. We need this guy driving a car in VR super fast, but show us the transformation. The title should draw your attention. And with this, we definitely got probably my favorite thumbnail of all of my testing. In Flux One Context Pro, it doesn't really do that great of a job. It puts me in a car and kind of puts some text on the screen, but it's, again, kind of useless. Like, you wouldn't use that as a real thumbnail. This is absolutely shocking. Not only is my regular room actually on the left-hand side and copied pretty well, but it's fully cropped me out in the center, put electric, static, transformation stuff everywhere. The VR headset's on, I got the wheel in my hand, and we've got cars on both sides, where in real life it's just a 3D model, but when you're in there, it feels realistic and you're actually transported into a cyberpunk city or whatever, right? So this was easily my favorite thumbnail. I thought this was crazy amounts of impressive. It just crops it all and edits it perfect. Catchy, captivating title, VR killed my reality. Insane transportation. So cool stuff, cool stuff. All right, so how do you actually use Nano Banana right now? Well, like I said, LM Arena is pretty much your only real true choice. There's a bunch of scam websites out there. Make sure you're in battle mode up at the top. That seems to be the only way you can get access to it. Click on Generate Images in the bottom left-hand corner of the prompt box, then upload an image. This increases your odds of getting the Nano model. Type your prompt in and hit send. It's about a 1 in 4 chance that you get Nano Banana. Turn this wine into an ethereal blue. Click send. Hopefully we get Nano. Our results are in. I'm going to go with Assistant A on this one. And this time you can see we did not end up with Nano Banana, but GPT Image 1 is still doing a pretty great job. If you want to try a specific prompt, you can always upload it again. Just hope for the best. It's all free because you're literally ranking and rating these models, and it actually changes the leaderboard here on LM Arena. I think that B is more accurate in this regard. And you can see didn't get it again. This is Flux One Context. Ooh, this one's pretty close, but I'm going to say right is better. That's more ethereal. And there you go. Nano Banana wins against its own Gemini 2.5 Pro. Yeah, there's the raw output for you. It's really quite good. High detail, strong spatial understanding, can do text, great understanding of prompts. It's killer. Before I let you guys go, though, I'm going to give you some final thoughts and tell you about another AI image editing software that just hit the scene. First up, I'm pretty sure that Nano Banana here is really good because it's from Google. I do think that this is something that they're making for the Gemini 3 series of models. You know that they're on 2.5 Pro right now. It's been out for a while, so Gemini 3 is like right around the corner. I think this is the image gen that they're going to ship with that. And yeah, it's stellar. It's the best image generation I've ever used in terms of ability to understand your prompt, understand the images that you're uploading and editing, and just ability to one-shot complex tasks. And just basically, I can use it as like a YouTube thumbnail, for example. I mean, it's crazy. I've done that a couple of times for GPT Image by OpenAI, but I've never had it this reliable. I think the fact that it understands logos so well and can make like a perfect YouTube thumbnail really leans it towards being from Google. They have all of that training data from YouTube thumbnails, for example, or from, a bunch of copyrighted works, maybe even more data and better data in some cases than OpenAI. Regardless, though, like I said, this model isn't perfect. Sometimes it still screws up, and it's still like not really an official model. It's still something that's kind of under the wraps, so to speak. So once it fully releases, we'll know who made it and what it's really all about, but my money really is on a new autoregressive model from Google. Now, Qwen Image Edit is also here, and this is pretty phenomenal. It's a little bit more fully released than Nano Banana. Basically, we upload this text in Qwen Image Edit, and then we say, add a photo of a woman standing in front of the Qwen text, but behind the image edit text in a stylish design like you'd see on a magazine. You can see it edits it pretty flawlessly, reminiscent of Nano Banana, right? So a little bit of competition. We did run some head-to-head Qwen Image Edit versus Nano Banana in the Discord server yesterday, and I gotta say, Nano Banana pretty much took it home every time. But with more straightforward edits, this is a strong model, and it's pretty much everywhere. So I just really wanted to mention it as I was also talking about Nano Banana. I thought it'd be useful for you guys. It pretty much does it all. Seems to be better than the Flux editing models. That is it from me for today, folks. Thanks so much for watching. I got more stuff coming up in the future. I've got access to a secret new coding model that I'm going to be demoing and testing out today. So if you see any crazy projects floating on my Twitter timeline or on Discord, that would be the reason why. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, folks, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.